Old dude here said he's tired of not having his fenders on or his hood. Tired of not being able to go down the road. Whatever dude wants, dude gets. We got to get busy and get this truck done. Well, if you remember last week, we left off needing to get a bunch of broken bolts out of these fenders. Well, I hit these three with a torch, got them red hot, hoping that would break them free. Oh no, it didn't. Ended up drilling through them and retapping them for 5/16. Then these here, well, it used to be 3, as you can see. There ain't a whole lot down there anymore, no sir. They were bolts that stuck through this way. And if you remember, I told you, Daddy put that new floorboard in there 30 years ago. So I just knocked them old bolts out of the way, drilled holes through the new floorboard. We'll run us some new bolts through there. That's, I think, all the broken bolts. I thought it was more than that, but it ain't. So let me get my inner fender up here first. I got to mark it so we can cut it out for this upper A-arm. Then we can bolt it in, get the fender on, so I can get my little doodad out and see what kind of wheel and tire we can run. Let's get us a rough estimate. How does this thing even go in here? Something like this. Well, I don't know how it goes in. Like that right there. Oh yeah, I know I figured it out. Approximately there. And then make me some rough scratches on here. Approximately there to approximately here. Then I wish I could get it to go down like that, and I can get me a height on it. Something about like that right there. All right, let me cut that out real quick and see what that looks like. That's really, really loud. Well, I believe we got it the first try. Once it's picked up, this picks up an inch or so. Once we pick it up, it comes off this bolt. We can get a wrench in here, loosen these up so we can do our we call it alignment. Yes sir. Let me get some bolts in it and then we'll get the outer fender on. I believe we'll have this side. Well, I got the inner fender loosely bolted in. Now we got to get the outer fender, but I got to fight this brace right here. It goes down here. Well, you can see it's just about to fall off. So this is going to be very interesting. Gotta be careful not to scratch my paint. I think that goes on the other side, don't it? Ow. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I gotta pull some bolts back out right here though. There we go. Now let me see if I can get them 2 bolts back in. Get this here brace on. Need a longer bolt for that. All right, that's all I'm gonna get to up here. I gotta raise it up, get 3 here and nuts here, and yeah, I'll be back when I get it done. Well, I ran out of bolts and washers and nuts last night. So I had to wait till today to go to the bolt store. But I got the front end on it. It took me a large portion of the day to get this back on. It really has. Let me show you this though. Remember how I was wondering if the front wheel was going to be moved forward? I believe it has been. Yes, sir. Looking at this and then the old picture, I sort of think it's been moved forward 3/4 inch, somewhere in there. It has been dropped probably 2 inches due to the, what are they called? The drop spindles. And when I let the weight down on the suspension, it dropped a whole whopping 1/2 inch. Them springs are entirely too stiff. So most likely I'm gonna probably end up going with 300 pounders. We'll put the 325s in when they get here and cut them, you know, get it the stance I want. But yes, sir, we're probably gonna go with lighter springs. What I'm doing right now, I wanted to get this front end on so I could get my little contraption out and go to figuring on wheels, what size wheel and tire and all. Well, this thing's gonna drop 3 more inches, and that control arm, well, it's liable to push the tire out more. So I'm gonna wait on that. The spring should be here tomorrow, but it'll be tomorrow evening probably, so I can't kill a whole day waiting on that. So this feller, he's gonna get backed out, bring the 40 in, and we're gonna probably finish the 40. Then we'll get back on that. So I was hoping this was gonna be, you know, next week's video, but no, sir. I believe it's gonna be the old Forte. Anyway, let me get this out of the way, get the 40 on here, and we'll get to working on it. Well, I was fixing to bring the 40 in here, and I was in here working. I heard a little fluttering above my head. Well, we got a hummingbird stuck in here. I don't understand that. How you can be so dumb that you can't see that great big old opening. That blows my mind. It really does. I got him a feeder in here. Maybe he'll come down to it. It's right there. Maybe he'll come down to it and then realize there's a great big opening right there. Well, I decided to put my hummingbird feeder on top of my post here that goes to the left, thinking maybe he'll swoop down, get him a drink, and he'll see this gigantic opening, and he'll get on out here. And it worked. He finally got out. I was just fixing to get up there and get it down. The crazy thing, come back in, getting him a drink. So let me get that out here before he gets stuck in here again. I'll set it out here on the truck somewhere. He can get him a drink. Well, it's been a week or so, and we are back on dude. Fixing to change these springs out. I got the upper ball joint loose, got the shock out of the way. Fixing to let this jack down. Watch that spring pop out. Y'all don't stand in the way because it'll hit you. Going down, slowly. Jack's fixing to fall off. It was aggravating getting it in. It's probably going to be aggravating getting it out too. No, it ain't. Look at there. Oh, yeah. Let me go get the 325s. These are tree fitties right there. Let me get the 325s. Let's just see what the difference is. There ain't no difference in the height. What about the diameter of the coil? That's about 593. This is 603, 604. So ain't a whole lot of difference, but there is a little difference in the diameter. I guess that's what makes up the poundage. You know, it would be nice if we didn't have to cut these coils. I'm pretty sure we will, though. Yep. Pretty sure we will. How'd I get that last one in there? There we go. Sort of. Oh yeah, it's in there. We done tore the boot on that ball joint. That's good. That's real good. I don't know how the devil that happened. Huh. Sure did though. I had a 2B6 back here first, didn't I? Let me get it. That didn't work this time. Don't y'all move. Let me let her down. Well, when I had all the weight on it, that bottom A-arm, she looked pretty level. So just changing springs may do it. I really hope we don't have to cut any coils. Let me go change the other side. We'll put the wheels back on it, set it down, see what it looks like. Well, it dropped it maybe a 1/2 inch, 5/8 somewhere in there, but we still ain't nowhere near where we need to be. See the A-arms, they are not parallel with the ground. They need to drop another 2 inches. So we got to pull it out and go to cutting coils. I don't know if I'm gonna cut a half. Let's just cut a half at first and see what happens. But they are a lot more springy now. I can actually make it bounce up and down a little bit. Yep, before it wouldn't do hardly nothing. Anyways, let's pull them back out and cut them. One of my grinders from Harbor Freight. Well, just listen to it. They won't hardly run. I imagine the brushes are burned up. Don't buy them. I'll never buy another. That one I had that was a Chicago Electric, it lasted years. Warrior brand junk. Let's cut the half a coil off this here coil. Does that make sense? All right, let me do that to the other side. Put them both back in. We'll see what that did. Dropped it an inch. We ain't quite there though. No, sir. Look at our bottom A-arms. They still ain't quite parallel. I'm gonna cut off one more half, and I bet that's gonna be really, really close. Let me pull them out one more time. By George, I think we've got it. That dropped it another almost an inch. And the bottom A-arms, that one there is almost parallel. That there is a little more angled, but remember, we got adjusters, you know, on top of the coil pocket thingamabobs. Got about an inch of adjustment. The springs will settle, so it'll drop a little more, and well, it'll probably be about right. If it drops a little too much, well, all we gotta do is turn them adjusters and bring it back up. But yes, sir, I think we got it. One coil equals 2 inches of drop. And I tell you what, y'all can't, it don't really show up very good on video. But man, that thing's got a rake to it. This is their retro 70s street car if there ever was one. Sitting up in the back with a big old tire sticking out. Yes, sir, sure is. Anyways, I'm gonna put the shocks and what they call the calipers back on. And I think we'll call it a night tomorrow. Well, tomorrow I think we'll start on the steering first. Get it done, then we'll start on the rear end. Come over here to Mama's to work on the steering wheel for Dude this morning. Look who showed up. Oh yes, Miss Daisy. How you doing, old girl? You doing all right? Say hello, everybody. You want some more belly rubs? All right, we'll see you later. Over on the old mill today, I got to cut 2 flats on the sides of this steering shaft right here. According to my maths, I got to take 105 thousandths off each side, you know, to match this pattern on this U-joint. Let me get busy doing that. Hopefully we don't mess nothing up. Let me flip her over and do the other side. I told y'all a little angle finder to come in handy. Oh yeah, sure is. That's how I'm gonna keep these 2 flats parallel with my little angle finder. Let me cut this flat and I guess we'll be done with this. Do it fit? No, it do not. Let me cut a little bit more off of it. Oh yeah, I think we can make it work. I'm gonna file on it a little bit. I believe it'll be all right. Let me run it up here and square that off, and we'll be done with it. Well, I just realized something. Depending on where this U-joint hits our set screw hole may hit where that old hole is, where he had that tapered pin, which I guess it probably don't really matter because, you know, we're going to dimple it anyway for the set screw. Let me stick it on here and see what it does. We'll see where it hits. Well, it's hitting about half the hole. Y'all can see that right there. I think it'll be okay because you remember on the Forte, this shaft here, I made it long enough to where if all my set screws loosened up and everything fell down, it still would never fall out of this shaft here. So I think it'll be okay. I'm gonna try to dimple it, you know, keep that set screw down in a little hole so it'll grab. But yeah, I think it'll be okay. Let me do all that. I'm gonna run the set screws in and mark the shafts with them. Then we'll pull them out and drill them. And then we'll Loctite them and it should be good. It's easier to start the hole with a smaller drill bit. That's what I'm doing right here. Then you do your final hole. Steering is done, with the exception of I need 3 5/16 Teflon lock nuts. I'll get them in a little while. Y'all watch this right here though. Watch it wheel. Look at that wheel turn. Oh yeah, look at there. It's a lot easier to turn these little old thin tires than it is the 12-inch ones over there. Them little fellers there work you to death. They sure will. I got to go do some stuff for the thing. When I get back doing the thing for the stuff, we'll start tearing this rear end out. Y'all watch this right here. Oh yeah, we gotta do something about that. That ain't no count. That's some of the play in the steering. See it right there? Oh yeah, we can't have that. I'll pull that off after a while and we'll look at it. It may have just come loose. I don't know. I gotta go do the stuff. I'll see y'all later. Well, I got done with the stuff for the thing, so let's get this here rear end out. Right now I'm just gonna take this bolt out, knock these plates off, and let this drop. But up here in the front, we gotta knock rivets out. I'm gonna get the plasma cutter. We're just gonna cut them little fellers out. There's, I don't know, 3 or 4 on the outside there. So yes, sir, let's get the plasma cutter out. Go to cut and get this rear end out of here right now. All right, y'all stand back because this may go flying. I don't know how much pressure is on that rear end, that leaf spring. Let me get a punch. Well, there's one. Got a little tension, I can feel it. There we go. That wasn't too bad. My chisel's though. Alright, there we go. Alright, let me get this other one and then we'll go to cutting rivets on the front. Son of a biscuit, that is hot on me. Woo! Ah! Ow! Alright, let me go to whooping on that. See if it'll come loose or not. Where's the big hummer? I want the big hummer. Woo! There. We'll have to cut some more, I think. Whoop on it with a big hammer. Excuse me, sir. she ain't a coming loose. Good gracious. There she goes. That took a little bit of work. We got that one shackle gone. Let me do the same to the other one. We'll get this rear end out of here. Ta-da! Woo! Oh, my knee. Come here, feller. Get out of there. Ooh. Ooh. Rear end delete is complete. We got a little rot right up here where this spring mount was. I can stick my finger through it. Oh yeah, this is over here. Let me get my light. It's all right. Well, it's thin, but it ain't rusted through. We're gonna have to reinforce both of them areas because right in this area is where my mount for my lower bar is going to be, for the 4-bar system. We may have to remove this Mercy brake cable bracket too. I'm not sure. What I'm going to do right now, well, I want to get this exhaust out of the way. I'm contemplating either cutting it right here or just going up there and unscrewing it. Anyway, it's got to get out of the way because right in here is where I'm going to be working. Yeah, I don't want it in my way. Let me get that out of the way, and then I want to get that rear end under here because I'm not real sure if we're going to have to narrow it right now. We will eventually, but right now I'm just trying to get her back on the road for the power tour. So exhaust out of the way, rear end under here, and we'll do some measuring. Here's the deal. I got the axles in there just so I can put these wheels on here. I bought these wheels a couple days ago. I'm not a big fan of rally wheels on anything other than the Corvette, but I figured we paint them black and they'd look okay. Well, these are 8-inch wheels. I was hoping to not have to narrow this rear end right now, just for time's sake, because we got 8 days left to get all this done. 10 if I work Sundays, but I don't really like doing that. And I was hoping that these would work, but they're not going to. The tire, I'm pretty sure, once I get a tire on here, it's going to rub pretty much everywhere. So what we're going to have to do is narrow the rear end, but I'm not going to narrow it like we did on the Forte. And it's not because I had all that trouble. It's because, well, this rear end came out of the old LTD that we flipped over in the woods a couple years ago, and I stole the 9-inch out from under it. This is it right here. And these lower control arms right here, that's where the lower control arms bolted in. The reason I'm not going to narrow it like we did the 40 because those mounts line up exactly with this frame. That just does not happen at this Nat Garage Backyard Butchery World of Misery. That just don't happen. So I'm not going to narrow it like we did the 40. I'm going to cut the ends off. I'm not sure you can buy these ends. I'm just wondering if I could grind that one off and reuse it. I don't know. We'll get there eventually. But the plan is to narrow this, but I'm going to go with 10-inch wide wheels now since we're going to narrow it. And if I do that, we're going to have to mini tub it because, well, let me get around here to the side. There's the side of the bed right there. From there to the fender, inside the fender, you got not quite 12 inches. These big old tires that I had on it, they're 12-inch exactly from sidewall to sidewall. So that won't fit. That's what I want to run is 12-inch tire, 10-inch wheel, 12-inch tire. So we're going to have to mini tub it. From the frame right here to the bed is 3.5 inches. We're going to have to cut that out, mini tub it, and then we'll center, well, we ain't going to center. Well, you know how I like my tire on out here. We'll get it like I want it, and then if we have to leave this big opening, we run out of time, I don't care about that. We'll come back and put a mini tub in it eventually. But that is the plan. Let me recap because I probably confused y'all because I'm sort of confused myself. Can't use these wheels. I'm going to buy 10-inch wheels of this kind just because they're so cheap right now. They're gonna be painted black. Anyway, gonna run 10-inch wheels. Gotta tub it, mini tub it. We're gonna narrow it, but not like we did the 40. We're gonna cut the ends off. We might use these ends. We might buy new ones that just slip on and weld. I have to order them. Be 2 or 3 days before we get them. What we can do right now, well, not right now because I'm fixing to go in the house. Tomorrow, we can go ahead and mount this rear end. I'll cut the coil perch. I'll cut the shock mount off, and this panhard rod mount, it's got to go. We're going to leave the lower control arm mounts. That'll help out a little bit right there. And going by, well, let me grab one of them real quick. Like, this is the same length that we put on the 40, and it's going to hit about where that emergency brake cable bracket. That's hard to say. It's going to hit right here, so that's going to have to be removed. And then our upper arms, we'll have to put a plate here and make a mount right here for those triangulated upper arms. Yes, sir. That's what we're going to do. I've been kind of worried about how I was going to go about this, and it all fell into place about 5 minutes ago. I thought, well, I'll do this, this, and this, and I think we can make it. 8 days, that's all we got. We got to get busy tomorrow morning. Yes, sir. We got to get busy. I do believe we're going to start cutting these brackets off. I got to put studs in my axles, put them back in. Well, we actually might go ahead and cut our tub, our mini tub area out. So I really need to get those tires up in there, get them positioned, because I forgot to measure the wheelbase. I had to look it up online. A 53 is 116-inch wheelbase, so that's roughly what we'll be setting it back to. Anyways, let's get these here fellers cut off. There's one. I think I'll keep that. Never know. I'll keep that too. All the mounts are gone, everything's ground down smoothly, and we're gonna leave that sitting for a little bit. I don't know what I told y'all we were gonna do first last night. Whatever it was, that's probably wrong, because we've got to repair this frame first. There's a big old hole right there, and got one in the bottom. I'm not gonna cut any of that out. I think I'm just gonna plate it as far as I can. We're gonna take this bracket off, and we'll plate it. Well, let me get on here and I'll show you. See this big old hole right here in the bottom too? Well, I'm gonna take this bracket off, and then I'm gonna probably come way back here and plate it, I don't know, all the way up here at least. That way I don't have to take it. I wish this cross member wasn't here, because it's sort of right in the way. But I don't feel like cutting it out. It'd be too much work right now, too much time. Anyway, plate here, plate here. Then we'll put our mount, for our lower bar. We'll put it right there. Oh, plate right here, and this will be the mount for the upper bar. Do the same thing over here. It's not rusted through, but I want them to be equal. We'll plate here and on the outside here. I got to get them rivets out, and then once we do that, I got to thinking, I got to measuring. I ordered those rally wheels 10-inch wide last night, and these wheels here, exact same offset and backspace and all that. So we will use these to mock it up. So what we got to do after we patch the frame, we're going to cut our arch out for our little mini tub. That way we can set this in here exactly where I want it. Then I can get me a measurement from wheel mounting surface to wheel mounting surface, because we got to have that before we can narrow that rear end. Anyways, let me get some plates cut. I got to get the rivets out, grind it down where I can get a decent weld, and then we'll keep on trucking. Trying to get these rivets out. They're not cooperating. That one there did. First hit. Oh yeah. All right, let me get how many out over here. Got, well, all three of them on the side. So that's good. Let me whoop on them a little bit. All right, there's one. the other one. Third one. I'm gonna probably have to work on it because there's a whole lot sticking out. Anyways, let me get them out. Then I gotta cut these emergency brake cable brackets. Why is that so hard for me to say? I don't know. Well, we got it reinforced. That's not my best welding, but I'll tell you what, I couldn't hardly get to it to see it. My helmet kept, you know, it's an auto darkening helmet, and it wasn't picking up the flash, and I kept blinding myself. Anyways, we got that done. Got that out of the way, so I reckon now I got to get out here and draw me a wheel tub how I want to cut it. I've never tubbed a vehicle before, so I had no clue how big you wanted to make it. So I got online looking for wheel tubs you can buy for this truck, and most of them about 30 to 32 inches long and about 8 to 10 inches tall. So I think we're gonna go 30 by 8-ish, maybe 8.5, 9, somewhere in there. Anyway, I got to figure out how I'm gonna draw that, get it drawn, and then go to cutting. After much deliberation and lots of studying online just to see what size wheel tubs are, this is what I've come up with. Right here, if you can see the whole thing. From here to here is about 34, and then from here up to there is about 9 1/4. It's more than enough for this right here. I doubt I'm gonna run anything bigger than that. So let me get the plasma cutter out and go to cutting it, I reckon. This is not a stock bed floor. They have probably got it welded to this, so I gotta drop it down, get in the bed, see what I got going on. See, it's not the original wood floor with the strips and all. It's diamond plate, but it ain't diamond shaped, it's square plate. I don't know. But it's welded to the side of the bed along here. So what we'll do, we'll just come on in here underneath. We'll cut that whole section out, and it should come off as one piece. I didn't cut all the way through it. I've got to cut it from this side because you can't hardly get to it from the bottom side. Hopefully it'll come on out after this though. Well, I got smart, and I used the one I just cut out and brought it over here. Made a template out of it. Oh yeah, it makes it a lot easier. My mama didn't raise no dummy. No, sir. Let me get this cut out real quick. Fire, fire, call the fire department. Well, we now have 2 gigantic holes in the side of my bed. Hello over there, how you doing? Here's a little tip for you too. If you're gonna be plasma cutting the bed of your truck, remove all leaves and sticks. Yep. You might start a fire if you don't. Anyways, I think it's be plenty big to get us a little bit bigger tire in it. Matter of fact, let me put them tires in here, lower it down, and I'll get them in and out like I want to, and then we'll get us a measurement how wide that rear end needs to be. Let me tell you what, this right here, yes, that looks mean. That back tire tucked in, and oh my goodness gracious. Video does not do it justice. No, sir. That is just, well, that's mean looking right there. The wagon wheel, the white letters, oh my goodness. I'm in love with this truck, I sure am. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to go that low or not. With it sitting like it is right now, I've got approximately 2 1/8 inches of suspension travel. That ain't much. I'd be willing to bring it up 1 more inch in the back. The front, I'm not sure. You know, I got these 8-inch, we call them rallies, and I got some 10-inch coming for the back. I'm not sure those 8-inch are going to fit the front. I may jack it up here in a minute and then check that out. yeah, I got to determine what tire size I can run. But this is, I would like to keep it like this. It may have to come up a little bit, an inch or so, but yep, this is really, I'm telling you, it just don't do it justice. Anyways, I got to do some studying on front tires and wheels. I think we're going to call it a night. My measurement, wheel mounting surface to wheel mounting surface, is 57 3/4 of the inches. Look at that big old hole we done cut. Oh yeah, I'm hoping that we can just take this that I cut out and put it right back, just like that right there. We'll have to put us a, I don't know, what is it, 3.5, 4 inch piece all the way around it. I think it'll work. Oh yeah. Anyways, let me study on my front wheel and tire. I'm going in the house, eat me some supper because I'm starving. I told y'all I'm a growing boy. I gotta have my food. Anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow. What are we gonna do to this old bucket of rust today? I would like to get this rear end mounted. That's a lofty goal because I got several mounts to make and I got to make the bars. It's possible that we can do it. What I'd like to do before we start that though, get these ends off. I'm gonna grind these welds off, knock them out because we got to reuse them. It'll be 2 or 3 days at least before I can get new ones. They want $100 for them things. I'm not paying that. Anyways, that's the goal for today. But before we do that, I'm gonna get this camera level. Y'all see that truck leaning to the driver's side? Yeah, it's 2 inches difference from here to over here. I don't know what in the world's going on. It's probably these coil springs. I imagine they're made in China, and there's this, the quality control is terrible. We can either cut this coil, make it drop down, or use our adjuster to raise this one up. We don't have 2 inches of adjustment, but let's do that first. Let me raise this up, get the weight off of it, and then we'll spin that adjuster up and see what it does. Here's the adjuster I was telling you about. It's on them threads right there. It's about 1 inch, 1.25 inch adjustment that we got. It's got a grease fit, and I probably ought to grease it right now. And it's got a set screw, but it's not on the front side. It's conveniently located on the back side. Yep, you gotta loosen that up before you go to turning it. They send you this wrench. It's got these good sharp edges on it to cut your hands, but you just put it on there like that right there. Well, maybe, yeah, there we go. And you turn, oh yeah, this is going to be interesting. I gotta have 2 hands plus a cheater bar, so let me get this adjusted and I'll be back. This is going to take approximately 1.5 hours. I done bent the wrench a little bit, so I'll see y'all when I get done. Maybe. Well, it's a lot better than it was, but it's still 3/4 inch low over here. Checked air pressure and tires. They're both the same size of tire, but they're not the same brand. So I measured this one 25.5, measured this one 26. So that's part of the issue. But still, 1 inch difference from side to side on them springs, that's pretty sad, I think. Also, I don't know if y'all can tell on camera, this tire's laying way out at the top, and I got the upper A-arm shoved in as far as it goes. So I don't know how you're supposed to align it with it like I just don't know. The stuff you buy now, I'm telling y'all fellas, it's just junk. Everything you buy nowadays. This is why I build my own stuff. Eventually, that garbage will probably come out of this truck, and I'll build my own, so it'll be right. Anyway, let's start tearing these ends off this rear end. Well, I take back what I said about these upper control arms. They're not pushed all the way in. Let me see if I can get you a shot. See that T-bolt right there and right there? Way up here, let me point to it right here. The end of my thing there. They got another 1/4 to 3/8 that they could go in. What the problem is that upper A-arm is hitting the hat, the spring hat, right there where I'm pointing. Yes, sir. So I don't know. We may have to take my arms off and cut some off if possible. I don't know, fellas. That ain't gonna work though. And I do think that only having that much adjustment left, it's just something ain't right. Anyways, this has disgusted me. Let's get over here and work on this rear end. Ah, just broke. Ta-da! I don't know if you'll call it MLS or if you'd call it doomousness. But what I feared might happen has happened. Yep. I cut all the way through it whilst I was grinding. It's supposed to look something like that. But as you can see, I cut through this piece right here. Yep. That's awesome. Let me go inside and see if I can find some of these. Get them here as quick as I can. We can continue to work. You know, I can build the chunk. We can still mount this. I don't have to have this right now. Yeah, let me go order them and we will proceed to continue. That's about all we can do. Here's the deal. If I order these from Summit, there'll be the fastest shipping. Amazon, it says delivered by Friday of next week. I can't rely on that. Summit will ship Monday. This is Saturday. Summit will ship Monday. So that means at the earliest I'll get them Wednesday. No sir, we're not gonna do that. We got one good one. Really and truly, there's nothing wrong with this if you're using the axles that don't use the seal on the inside, and that's the axle I've got. The seals goes on the outside, so this will work. You can buy them like this, or you can buy them with the place for the seal. We don't need that. So what I'm gonna do, put this in the mill. We're gonna mill it down flat and true. Then this one here, I'm gonna leave this just because it'll help locate it in the tube. I might put it in the lathe and cut some of this weld off. But here's the deal about it slipping up in the tube. Y'all can't see it because it's all nasty, but it has been machined, it feels like. So in order, we'll cut that off, and in order for that to slip in there, we'll have to grind that a little bit. That don't matter. That ain't nothing big. So I think that's what we'll do. Let me roll over to Mama's real quick. Machine these. I ain't gonna video it. When I get back, we'll try to narrow this rear end. All right, I'm back with my pieces that I got cleaned up. See that right there? Cut the weld off and then trued that up. I put that in the mill and trued it up, and I made these the same thickness. It don't really matter, but just for measurement, figuring purposes, from here to here, it's the same thickness on that one and that one. Now, I have finagled these tires around, got them true and plumb and all that. My measurement from wheel mounting surface to wheel mounting surface has changed. It is now 56 3/4 instead of 57. Then I got to take 5 inches off of that because of what I got set up right here. This is what they call axle stick out, axle offset, brake offset. It got several different names, but you measure from wheel mounting surface to the outside of your housing flange. Usually on these it's 2.5. This is like 2 4/70, so we'll call it 2.5. So I got to take 5 inches off for that, when I go to measuring over here. Then this is 1 inch thick. That's 1 inch thick. So take off another 2 inches. So 7 inches from that, what did I say, 56 3/4. Take 7 inches off that, and that will be the axle tube ending. So I got to take 3.5 inches off each side. I'm gonna get them marked. This does not have to be centered because it's a truck. There's no transmission tunnel. Let's wait a minute before I tell y'all that. Let's get under here and look. I got the camera pretty much where that the center where that pinion is gonna be, and I think we'll be okay. The only thing we got is this emergency brake arm, whatever you're gonna call it. If I have to, that little feller can get cut. Oh yeah. Next thing it hits this cross member, but it won't ever be that high anyway. So I think we're good there. So let me get over here and go to measuring, and we'll cut these tubes off and then get this thing narrowed, hopefully. Well, I got it marked. Can't use the cutoff saw because for whatever reason Ford likes to neck them down, and I think the 40 seemed like it necked down and then necked back up or something like that. Anyways, neck's down here, it's flat here, and well, it's too long and cumbersome to try to get it trued up in that cutoff wheel. So I'm gonna use that cutoff wheel. We're gonna cut her off right here on the outside. Remember that, the outside of the tape. Don't mean I'll cut the inside. Hopefully my measurement's right. It's 49 3/4. the full length of the tube, not all that other apparatus. I'm gonna check it one more time for a cut, but yes sir, fingers crossed that I got everything right and I don't screw this up. I forgot to tell y'all this. I took this, this is the one that quit working. Took it apart, you just one screw in the end there. Take that off, and there the brushes are. They were pretty much gone. We'll try to find some tonight if I can. That'll be awesome. If not, that's going in the trash. I'll never buy another one of them. Anyways, let's get this cut. Where's my cutting apparatus tie? Let's cut this tube off, man! I can't believe I did it. It blows my mind the way I do things sometimes. I cut it an 1/8 inch too long. You think I'm gonna worry about 1/8 inch, you crazy. It'd be just fine and dandly. I had to diagram the inside of this tube so this would fit in there. It's a good tight fit, so that's good. I got our bevel so we can get some weld down in there. Here's the deal though. Remember I told y'all first thing today that we were gonna try to get our mounts and bars made? No, just forget about that. Sometimes, every once in a while, I'll get the cart before the horse. Today's one of them. We need to have this axle. We need to have the axles in so I can bolt the wheels to it and I can get it centered, wheelbase set and all that. It's just easier the way my brain works to do that. In order to do that, to get the axles in, you gotta have the chunk. Well, this stock chunk is 28 spline. I'm going back with a limited slip that's 31 spline. So we're gonna have to at least put the bearings on the new differential. There it is right there. I was looking for it a minute ago and couldn't find it. Anyway, we'll put the new bearings on it, then stick it in the chunk, stick the chunk in the housing, then we'll go to getting them axles and axle ends all straight and we'll weld them up. Then we can stick it under the truck and start working on the mounts and bars and all that. There's one. Well, it's coming to flood as you can hear, but you know what? That don't affect me because I got me a nice, pretty shot. Anyway, you might be wondering what I'm doing right here. Well, this is a limited slip, and I don't know if y'all can see or not. Let me get my flashlight and try to show you. Down in there, see there's sort of two sets of splines. Well, they're supposed to line them up when they put these together. Apparently they didn't. It got moved a little bit, and my axle, I've been trying to figure out how long it needs to be. Well, my measurements wasn't coming up right, so the axle wasn't slipping all the way down in there, so I had to go ahead and bang my studs in, put it in this wheel, put the chunk on that one, and then stick this axle down in here and turn it just a little bit. They wasn't off much, but anyway, I turned it and finally got it to fit all the way down in there. So now that I know that's good, let me go back over here, put everything back together, get me a measurement, we'll go to cutting some axles. All right, got one axle cut, got it in, and she spins freely. It slipped up in the bearing pretty freely. So I'm gonna say this one here is good to go. We'll still measure everything, check squareness. I guess we'll cut this one next and get that housing end up here, see what it looks like, and then, well, I'll probably go ahead and tack that one in 2 or 3 places. Then get this one all squared up, and we'll go to measuring how I put my angle iron here and there, and go to measuring each one, checking it out. If it's good, well, we'll weld them up. I already got this axle slid in with my housing end on there, and I think we're ready to tack it in. The only way I don't do this, know I'm 100% honest with y'all. You got a lip here all the way around. Well, you can see there ain't as much here as it is over here. Well, that's because we ain't welded up, we ain't centered, and well, if this will be steel, I'll show y'all that. See, it can move around. All I'm going to do is put my fingers right here and feel until that's centered. I'm going to tack it up, and then that's pretty much going to be it. I'm going to put my angle iron on here, to make sure everything's square. But that's the only way I know to do it. Now, it ain't gotta be, I'm telling you, it don't have to be dead on. It can be off a little bit and run for years and years and years. It would be nice to have a jig, but you ain't gotta have one, I'm telling you. There's no telling how many things, not necessarily rear ends, but how many things that I have lined up like that right there, and they're still running today. Anyways, let me get that tacked up, and then we'll get our angle iron here and measure from side to side and see if we're square. If we are, we'll go ahead and weld these up. Sort of feels like it needs to go down just a wee bit. I'll probably break that little bit of tack. It ain't very big. That's spinning pretty free. That tells me we ain't in no terrible bind. I'm gonna measure this with the calipers and just see how close we are. 290. 275. That ain't bad for the old finger gauge. 255. 260. Fellers, you can't get much closer than that, especially just feeling of it. I think I'm gonna weld it up. I just measured it again with the calipers, and it's within 10 or 15 thousandths on 3 sides. That bottom one it's about 40 thousandths more than this, which means it's about 20 thousandths off. You think I'm gonna worry about 20 thousandths? No, sir, sure ain't. Now, I'm sure I'm gonna get some expert know-it-all comments on lining this up with my fingers, and that's fine, fellas. If y'all want to pay, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000. Send that to the shop and let somebody else do that for you. It's your money, I don't care. But here at the Backyard Butchery Emporium, this is how we do stuff. It's just like it or lump it, that's how I do it. And talk about need a fixture. Well, here's my fixture. That ratchet strap. It kept moving around, I was trying to line it up. Well, the whole housing kept moving, so I strapped her down. That's my fixture right there. Anyway, let me get these axles out, put our angle iron here, and go to measuring end to end, see how square we are. Hopefully we're square. If we are, we'll weld it up completely. I already got my angle iron up here. Where's my tape measure? Let's get us a measurement right here. I'm measuring, same distance. I got my little lines made. Right here we got 52 and 1/4. Then over here we got, what we got? 52 and 5/16. Y'all see that? 1/16 over. You think I'm gonna worry about a 16th? Especially, over, what is that, 18 inches? No, sir, sure ain't. Let me run it this way and check it. Hopefully we're good there. If we are, we'll weld her up. Got them turned 90 degrees. Let's see what we got. 52 and 1/8. Yeah, that's a little off from what we were. And then this one over here is 52 and 3/8. Yep. So we are off 1/4, actually 1/8, because if you go 1/8, then it'll line it up. I'm not worried about 1/8, but let me see what I can do to get her lined up just a wee bit more. Because it could be hard on this bearing out here. Anyway, let me whoop on a little bit and see what I can do with it. I cut 3 welds loose, left that one on the back side. Took my hammer and pecked that out a little bit. Y'all look at here. We now have 52 and not quite 5/16. Then we got over here 52 and not quite 5/16. I'm gonna just leave it like this. Do it 90, make sure I didn't get this way out. If I didn't, I'll tack it, and then we'll go ahead and weld it up. Got her flipped 90 degrees. What do we have? 52, not quite 5/16. I believe we've heard that story before. 52, and it's about 1/4. I'm gonna leave her, fella, the 16th don't bother me. Actually, it's probably a 32nd. Let me tack this, and we'll weld them both up. Well, I goofed. I left this bearing race in when I welded this up, and as you can see, it's a blue color now. This down here looks okay, but I'm gonna replace it too because I forgot left it in. Anyway, let me get the axles in. We'll get it under the truck. I'd like to at least get the bars made tonight. It's pretty late. It's like 2:30 in the morning, but I would like to get those bars made. So let's get it on the truck, get us a measurement, and we'll make them. Well, this is how it's gonna be sitting. Looks pretty mean. Like I said, videos don't do it justice. But yep, this is exactly how it's gonna be sitting. I measured probably 3 3/8 or so suspension travel. I think it should be more than enough. You know, if we have to, we'll see notch that frame later, but right now I ain't worried about it. I was under here measuring, seeing what kind of bars we're gonna use. Here's one of the old cheap Chinese junk ones that broke. And you know, I did the same length on the 40. I think we'll do the same length on this old truck here because it seems to work pretty good on that car. So let me do some measuring and figure out how long they need to be. We'll make the bottom ones for sure. We may wait on the top ones. I don't know, but let's get the bottom ones made at least. Dead on. Well, there's our bars, the bottom ones anyways. They're pretty much level. That's basically where they're going to go. The holes in these brackets, they're like 9/16. You know, I use 5/8 hardware, so we'll have to drill them out. And of course, as you can see, we'll have to use some spacers in here. We'll do all that Monday. We'll figure out our top bars, however long we want them. We've got to plate this, and then we got to make our mounts up here and there, and on top of the rear end. And I just measured for my coilovers. I'm using the same coilovers we did on the 40. Oh, we got plenty of room. It'll be angled a little bit, but yeah, we got plenty of room for them. And did I tell y'all, I think we got like 3 3/8 suspension travel. These bump stops will have to go. So I think we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna, well, you remember the 40. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that Monday. The compression on the springs. Anyways, it's after 3. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm wore out. Did I mention I'm tired? Going in the house. Gonna eat. I got an hour or two of editing to do, and then I will see the sun come up. I guarantee you. Yep, I'll see the sun come up this morning. But today is Sunday. Sunday's a day of rest. That's what I plan on doing. There's the old Forte. See y'all Monday. Well, it's Sunday evening. It's been bugging me all day long. Why this upper arm is rubbing. I still don't know why, but you can see right there where it's hitting. Same thing on this side. It ain't quite as bad. You can see it on this A arm too, right there where the paint's gone. Only thing I know to do right now to remedy this situation quickly, take my grinder, just grind a little bit off of that, a little bit off of that, and hopefully it won't hit. Here's something else I don't understand. You got this little cup washer, goes right there. Then it's a Teflon lock nut. And if I can get this started, there we go. Run it all the way up. And it might be catching one thread. And I don't understand. What's wrong with these engineers that's engineering this stuff? That bolt should stick out past the end to make sure it's hitting all of that Teflon, nylon, whatever it is. Keep that thing from backing off on its own. I don't understand that. Anyways, there ain't a whole lot I can do about that unless I get a shorter nut or cut that one in half. I don't know. I'm just disgusted with this whole front end on this truck. Anyways, let me grind this, put it back on here. Hopefully that'll let us slide all the way back, get the top of this tire in. Then I can put my apparatus on here and see what size tire we can run. Then tomorrow we'll fix that other side. Well, I ground a couple of times and, well, I can move it by hand now. Before I couldn't. And I thought it was just the bushings really tight. Oh no, it was locked up. I measured the inside of the A-arm here, 7 1/4. I measured the widest spot on this top hat for the spring, 7 9/16. That ain't gonna work. No, for sure ain't. If I can find some measurements on these upper A-arms, see what they're supposed to be, I bet you money this is going to be way off. Anyways, let me put this back together. I'm gonna put my apparatus up here, get me a tire measurement. See y'all tomorrow. Whilst editing videos over the weekend, I realized we're at about an hour on this old truck right now. So I think we'll cut her off right here and we'll start the next one. Question is, can we get old dude ready for power tour in time? I guess you'll just have to wait till next week and see. Anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.